I'd like to start off by saying it was a pretty bold move for MLCommons to invite me to speak today. Even more so to have me co-chair the integrity and reliability workstream for the effort. This points my recent professional history of looking at the bad things squarely at sitting in judgment of the MLCommons program. You'll notice that I'm not using the template provided for the AILuminate workstream because this is a independent work. I can say what I want to here. And that allows me to go into what is wrong, bad, and unreliable about AILuminate, and just enjoying seeing colleagues over there squirm, but you know, they know me, and I've been a participant observer in the production of the AILuminate benchmark. So I should, at the outset here, say that AILuminate is not actually like a typical benchmark. It's not developed with the same goal. It's actually trying to do something completely different, and that's important because there are a lot of benchmarks out there. There's new benchmarks about every day, or maybe even multiple a day, that are getting announced. This is a very common path being tread. And I can evidence that claim by actually looking at the desired properties of reliability that AILuminate is operating towards. And for this, instead of asserting that AILuminate is reliable for things, we actually found it necessary to look at the other side of that coin and look at what is unreliable or potentially unreliable. And from this, we can actually borrow from the information security world, where when you're wanting to claim that a system is secure, you actually start by thinking about all the ways that could be insecure. So here, all the ways that AILuminate could be unreliable. We wrote down a big list of those potential threats to benchmark reliability, and one example of this, threat number 25, set developers place evaluator within system chain. I'm going to go into what this means a little bit more later, but we coded this with a severity and likelihood per risk management processes of maximum order, 1 and 1. Produced a set of candidate responses for that, and looked at the 2 responses that had been adopted within the AILuminate framework and rescored it, which produced a severity and likelihood that was roughly a quarter of what it was previously. From that, you can just do the risk math, 100 for before, 5 for after, and you could look at that as having scored 95 points against that threat of unreliability. And we're calling this at this point the benchmarks benchmark. You know, we heard you all love benchmarks, and thought we'd throw another one on top of the list there. And why is this an important thing to do? Why bring this into the MLCommons space? Well, people are already relying on benchmarks, sometimes in direct contravention of the expressed purposes of the benchmarks, which are often for research or optimization purposes, and not to actually evidence that you should use it for a particular thing, or it's fit for a particular purpose. And a lot of the release materials that you see with the new LLM foundation models, frontier models, are actually being published with these benchmarks, and people are relying upon it. So let's look at you know, the best benchmark that exists out there, and we'll set aside AILuminate for a moment. And this paper actually is coming out with NeurIPS proceedings in the next week, and was quite happy to see that MLCommons 0.5 release was actually in the upper right. It's basically the top according to this Better Bench paper in terms of the properties of design and usability. So that's great, but let's work through one example for MLCommons 0.5. This is a potential test prompt, not an actual one, and a system under test could produce these 3 outputs. The first one Policy says, that's fine, it's a refusal. It's good you didn't answer that. 0.5 hypothetically says, all right, that's also a good answer. Next response, no, you should not answer gasoline in this instance. Thumbs down according to policy, thumbs down according to the evaluator. And then hypothetically, 0.5 evaluator says in response to paint thinner, which is basically the same properties as gasoline in this instance, policy says no, you shouldn't. Evaluator says yes, it gets it wrong, hypothetically. Let's take the evaluator and put it into the set chain and make it so that it's a pre-filter on any outputs. So it does a good thing in this instance because it is able to filter out that gasoline response. We're happy about that. But the next one becomes hidden from the benchmark because our ability to see and identify that it gets it wrong is premised on the evaluator, which is now in the system chain. We're blind to everything from that. So MLCommons 0.5, despite it being state-of-the-art, like far upper right quadrant of things, is an unreliable benchmark once people start using this public evaluator. So is AILuminate an unreliable benchmark then? The answer on that is, that's the example I gave earlier. This is actually functionally mitigated by Shauna's and the workstream's work on developing an ensemble of private evaluators. So that is great. We are good there, and just coming back to B2 benchmark, really substantial improvements across the properties of longevity, correctness, comprehensiveness, consistency, and intelligibility. Really exceptional work. You see the progress of LLMs scaling very quickly. We really need our methods to scale at a similar space, so I think this is something to be quite happy about. Because I am a professional warrior, and because this is really the start of the journey, I'll call out the weakest point because it's great to end on a sour point. Everyone loves that. Comprehensiveness, while improving substantially between 0.5 and AILuminate, is the lowest property being assessed right here. I think that the great thing, and the thing I want to call out here is there's an opportunity here. There are some LLM developers in the room, deployers in the room. There's really an opportunity to give to MLCommons those scenarios that might not be covered within the benchmark at present. There's the ability then to expand coverage within AILuminate and subsequent versions. And this also has the side benefit of, while you are creating a greater insight into the performance of these systems, the set that provided those scenarios should probably also perform a little bit better, because that's actually something that the internal programs will have been engineering to. So there's really great social and commercial alignment here, and I just love that aspect of it. And that's where MLCommons is really in an exceptional position to help effectuate change within the safety ecosystem, and it's been quite a pleasure to work within this context over the course of time, and I thank my collaborators on that. If you'd like more information on B2, you can go to b2.disria.org. It's in development. We're still iterating it and working with additional benchmark producers to get them scored and just help lift up the science of practical, real-world, reliable benchmarks. Thank you.